And we're back for Season 4. It seems like so long ago that I did that first season review of this show. And that was my first one, so it holds a special place in my heart. Then again, so does the original show. So let's load up and get to going. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing Voltron, the Legendary Defender. Season 4, the first episode. Alright, so last time they really only had a partial season. In my opinion, seasons 3 and 4 could easily be slid together. But for those of you that don't know, Voltron is the series about magical and technological lions that fight in an intergalactic war. And for those of you that don't know, I do reviews here of TV shows, movies, Netflix shows, and of course, every Sunday I do a theory video on how and why we tell stories. If that sounds cool to you and you want to be in part of this community, hit subscribe now. Like I said, Season 3 was really only 7 episodes, so the fact that Season 4 is only 6 episodes would put it at 13, which is about where they normally are for one season. So I'm mostly going to be handling this as if it were just one season. Even though now we're starting with Episode 1, it really feels more like Episode 8. They did a time jump. They've been going for about a year now. And here we go with where we pick up where they left off last year with Episode 1. In case you haven't seen it, spoiler warning. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. So Episode 1, we don't get a lot about what's going on in the Gulra Empire. We only have that little bit at the end. Hathor and the king were both... A lot happened at the end of last season where we were finding out a bunch about what was going on, so that's really what I'm interested in and haven't seen. I still have my guess, and I'm calling these guys the Anti-Paladins, because I still think that that meteorite they recovered, that they're building their own version of Voltron. Most of this episode, though, is kind of a weird thing for a cartoon to be dealing with. It's the difference between propaganda and winning hearts and minds. The Voltron force is doing parades and doing military shows of force to try to get new allies. And first of all, I have to say that makes perfect sense. I said from the beginning of this show it was interesting because one man, or, well, one robot, can't win a war. Voltron cannot win the fight on its own. They need allies. They need ships. They need supply lines. They need all of the sorts of things that I thought the princess and Karan were going to be pulling together. And yes, even though I'm still calling her the princess, there is still part of me that says she should be Queen Allura. But I digress. Nowadays, it's more Karan that's doing this sort of thing, along with Shiro. Because we had some lion changes last year. Well, a couple months ago. Blue Lion is no longer Lance, which makes perfect sense because in the original series, Blue Lion was Allura's lion. And now she is totally badass and in control, and we don't need to worry about her learning anymore. Keith had to give up Red Lion because Keith had to give Lance a lion, and that makes sense. And then, of course, we still have the two that didn't move. We still have Hunk, who is still kind of a little bit of comic relief and goofy. And we have Pidge. And you know, I'm still disappointed at the fact that we don't get more character development. Pidge/Kate is probably one of the most interesting characters from Season 1. I hope as the season goes on we get more. Shiro is currently in charge of the group at the beginning, but working outside because Keith has been given Black Lion and the direct field command. But of course, by the end of the episode, we have that switch back. And we do so because Keith has been given a new type of position. He's working with the Blade of Mamora. Which again makes sense because 1, he has the blade, and 2, he's a little more hands-on of a guy. The problem of the episode is the fact that they can't form Voltron without Keith, and they can't work without Keith. Meanwhile, let's be honest, the Blade of Mamora is really the ones that are getting most of the intel. They're the ones that are doing most of the legwork, while Voltron is winning hearts and minds. And again, that's an interesting concept. One that I think maybe a little too adult for a kids' cartoon. The difference between being a Special Forces infiltration team and being a tank specialist is a million miles away. And I think that that's really what we're showcasing. But that's my thought, and I really would love to hear your opinions down below. Do you think the Blade of Memoria, as we go on, are going to be a bigger role? Now, Lotor himself has proven to be quite the cunning enemy, and again, I still think he's building his own version of Voltron. But as we move forward with this season, I hope to see a lot more of this. With only a few hours worth of entertainment to go, though, I'm going to start watching that after work tonight, so I'll put more videos up later. For now, I'm enjoying this. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. And of course, if you haven't already, give my video a big thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, because I'm trying to build a community. And if you haven't clicked that subscribe button, what are you waiting for? Come on, Voltron's awesome. And this community is going to be discussing, for at least this weekend, all the thoughts of how Voltron works. For now, I hope that you have a good day, because I'm going to try to catch episodes in between my work schedule. And thanks for watching the heart of the stories we tell.